Okay, when it comes to problem solving in algebra, it's probably the first real problem solving that we're going to encounter so far in secondary 2. So I'm going to compare it to the poster that I have in the classroom, okay? So yes, of course, read the problem carefully, identify each element with a variable, make an expression. I'm always going to refer to my poster, which is really 4 steps. Step 1 being just simply, what is the question about? Step 2, I'm going to make a chart and fill it in. Step 3, what am I doing with all those little mini expressions? I'm going to make a big expression, meaning add, subtract, take the average. And then I'm going to simplify, like we have been doing for the past 2 weeks in lessons 6 and 7, simplifying the algebra. So approach it always those 4 steps. So for example, the first question, it talks about n represents the first of 3 consecutive even numbers. Well, step 1 is just talking about 3 numbers, 3 consecutive numbers. Step 2, make a chart. They are talking about 3 numbers, so first, second, third number. They even tell you that n is the first number. Well, if I use an example, just an example, because we have no clue what the numbers are, let's pretend that it's 10, 12, and 14, consecutive even numbers. Well, if we pretend that n is 10, what do you do to 10 to get to 12? Well, I'm just simply adding a little plus 2. So n is like my 10, we're pretending, we don't know what it is, and I just simply add a little 2 to it to get to the next number. Same idea for the next one. How do you go from 10 to 14? You add a little plus 4 to the original n. Step 3, what are they asking you to do in this question? They are asking you to do the sum of all 3 numbers. In doing that, I just make an expression, n plus 2, and the last one, n plus 4. So you do have to make sure that you do all 3. So you guys see here that I've done the first one, the second one, and the third one, and you're just adding everything up. Step 4, simplify. Put all your n's together. 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3n plus 6. That is your final answer for that question. Example 2. It says, give an expression. Okay, that's really my step 3, give an expression. I'm not there yet. Represent the average. Okay, average will be helpful because that's going to tell me what to do with my numbers. So that's really my expression. If I take the average of 2 numbers, I'm simply just adding 2 numbers and dividing by 2. Before that, though, I do have to create that chart. So step 1, the question is about just taking the average of 2 numbers. Step 2 is make the chart. I have the first number and I have the second number. So I have a number and the other number. One number is always going to be plain old x, or some person's going to be plain old x. The other one's being compared to it. So my trick is wherever it says more than or greater than, right here, you stop reading right there. When you stop reading, you write something down. So it says 10 more than, greater than, right there. You write it down at the end of your expression. When you keep on reading, you stick that in front. So I'm being compared to the other person. The other person is just plain, the other number is just plain x. So each of these have to have an x in it. So notice this has a plain x and this has x plus something. Then take those numbers, one is x plus 10, and I'm going to simplify. So step 1, step 2, expression, step 4 is simplify. Clean algebra, 2x plus 10 on top, I can make it cleaner. And then my last step for my final answer, I'm going to divide this question. 2 divided by 2 is just 1x, which is x. 10 divided by 2 again is a positive 5 for a final answer. Okay, the question about the chickens and the rabbits. Really, it's just talking about, the little chicken here has, whoops, I've been drawing 4 feet, 2 feet. So 2 feet for the chicken, 4 feet for the rabbit. They want to know what's the total in the barn. So I don't know how many chickens I have, but I know that every chicken has 2 feet plus the rabbit. I know it has 4 feet. So I'm multiplying these up. That's your expression. You can't go any further in that question. The next one, question 4. Question 4, I'm just going to focus on perimeter because area confuses students because it's really reflective of secondary 3 material. The base of a rectangle measure. Step 1, what's it talking about? Okay, a rectangle. Step 2, make your chart. Base and height. The base is 8 more than, right here. Stop reading and start writing. So plus 8. Keep on reading. That goes in the front of your question. So let me just use, instead of x this time, I'm just going to use height for height. Write an expression for perimeter. Well, perimeter is really adding up, don't forget, 4 sides. Some kids will only do 2 sides because they see 2 things here, but it's, right, all 4 sides. So 4h or x plus 16. The last question, I did change it up, so if you can just take a second and maybe put it on pause and rewrite that question for me in your notes, because it's more relevant to what we actually cover, okay? So Joe is 2 years older than triple his sister's age. So step 1, what are they talking about? They're talking about 2 people's different ages. Step 2, make a chart. Joe and Sam. Joe is 2 years older than. So remember, stop reading after the word more than, greater than, less than. So under Joe, plus 2. That means if you're writing something under Joe, that means Sam is plain X. And if I keep on reading here, I'm comparing it to, careful, triple, sorry about that. We're talking about triple his sister's age. So triple sister. With that expression, it is then asking, with these little algebraic expressions, what are they asking you to do with those little mini expressions? Are they asking you to add, subtract, take the average? In this question, they're actually asking you to take the difference between the 2 ages. So if I look at the sentence and I look at these both expressions, I can assume, I can see right away mathematically that Joe is older than Sam. Exaggerate my S's here. So therefore I'm going to put him first minus her and simplify. 2x plus 2. There's your final answer.